1:32 for fillies and mares. It's at the distance of 1 mile, and here again is Don Alexander's call.
And they're off. Bayakoa from the extreme outside, away for the early lead. Goodbye Halo is second, driving from the inside. Deloma splits him third. Benita Special is fourth, and behind the scenes is the early trailer. Crossing over onto the main track, Bayakoa, 3/4 of a length. Deloma, the gray mare, splits horses second to half. Goodbye Halo, a closer third, rushing at the rail. 5 lengths further back, Benita's a Special in the 4th spot. Another 10 back to behind the scenes. Continuing with the run down the back stretch, it's Bayakoa from the outside by a head. Goodbye Halo is now the 1 second to force the issue. Deloma is third, 3.5 off the lead. Benita Special fourth, and behind the scenes is still the trailer. Into the far turn, Bayakoa by a length. Goodbye Halo is second, a length and 1/2. Here comes Deloma again, a closer third. Benita Special fourth, and behind the scenes trails. Turning for home, Bayakoa by 2 lengths. Goodbye Halo sweeps up to the outside, putting in a second effort. Deloma racing third. Behind the scenes, out of the last spot, as they come into deep stretch, it's Bayakoa from the inside. Goodbye Halo under left-handed urging, but she's not cutting into the margin at all. It will be Bayakoa, a handy winner, drawing off with each and every stride. Goodbye Halo giving chase second. Behind the scenes, battling with...
Look at those fractions. Look at that final time. It's only a tick off their track record. And this is the reason Lafitte stayed in California. There's 2.
And he had good reason to stay in California. Bayakoa, after fractions of 1:08 and 1, 1:20 and 1, does the mile in 1:32 and 4. She's the top older filly or mare in California right now, trained by Ron McAnally. Goodbye Hello was second, and behind the scenes,
Don Alexander's call.
Bayakoa from the inside, the early lead. Flying Julia second. Hollywood Glitter quickly on the go third. Behind the scenes fourth. Carita Tostada is the trailer early. Around the clubhouse turn, Hollywood Glitter ahead. Bayakoa quickly at the rail second. Flying Julia racing third. 8 lengths further back behind the scenes, and the trailer continues to be Carita Tostada. Passing the 3/4 pole, Bayakoa has hold of the bit, showing the way a half length. Hollywood Glitter is second by 1. Flying Julia tugging on her bit, a closer third, center of the course. It's a good 12 lengths back to behind the scenes, and Carita Tostada is still the trailer. Approaching the half-mile pole, Bayakoa, the favorite, drawing clear by 2.5 lengths. Hollywood Glitter is second, a half length. Flying Julia third. Carita Tostada, and behind the scenes, waging their own battle far back. Midway around the turn, it's still Bayakoa, now coming closer. Flying Julia. 6 lengths back, Hollywood Glitter is shortening her stride. Behind the scenes, launching a bid, and Carita Tostada coming down the stretch. Bayakoa, left beat Pink Eye Jr. sitting chilly on the odds-on favorite. Flying Julia under left-handed urging, cutting into the margin. It's Flying Julia from the outside, but Bayakoa will persevere in the Milady. It's her 4th sweepstakes in a row.
It looked like Flying Julia had her approaching the quarter pole, but Lafitte Pink Eye had something left. Bayakoa wins the Milady. Flying Julia second. Carita Tostada third. The time over the fast track, 1 minute 40.
For the Vanity Handicap, fillies and mares at 1 1/8. This is a Grade 1 race. Here's Don Alexander's call.
And they're off. Rosadora from the inside. Bayakoa quickly from the center of the course. Goodbye Halo splits him third. Hollywood Glitter fourth. Flying Julia on the go from the center of the track. The early trailer is Carita Tostada. Around the clubhouse turn, and it's Bayakoa showing the way 3/4 of a length. Rosadora is second by a neck. Flying Julia a closer third from the outside. 4 lengths back to Goodbye Halo racing in the 4th position. Hollywood Glitter now 5th. 5 lengths back to the early trailer, who continues to be Carita Tostada. Down the backstretch, Bayakoa the favorite, tugging on the bit, shows the way by a length and 1/2. Rosadora is second at the rail. Flying Julia third. It's a gap of 5 lengths back to Goodbye Halo, followed by Hollywood Glitter, and Carita Tostada is still the trailer. Into the far turn, Bayakoa has yet to be challenged, showing it by a length. Rosadora second at the rail. Flying Julia is still third. Goodbye Halo fourth, has 7 lengths to make up. Then Hollywood Glitter, and Carita Tostada is still your trailer. 1/4 mile, homeward bound now in the Vanity Handicap. Bayakoa impressively on the lead, drawing clear by 3. Flying Julia racing second. Rosadora third, being asked to keep up. Goodbye Halo fourth. Carita Tostada out of the last spot, but there'll be no catching. The top mare here on the West Coast, it's Bayakoa, a handy winner, wire to wire.
She's 10-1 in the winter book for the Breeders' Cup. Might be a pretty good bet because she's the best around.
She is right now. 3-5 on a Saturday and winning the Vanity Handicap. Bayakoa makes it 5 straight stakes wins. Ron McAnally and Lafitte Pink Eye, the connections. Flying Julia was second. Goodbye Halo.
14th running of the Grade 1 Ruffian. $200,000 added. Fillies and mares 3 and up. Miss Brio, Eddie Delahousie in for this ride, and Bayakoa, Lafitte Pink Eye in for this one. And it's at 6-5. Colonial Waters, Santos, Nastique, Eddie Maple. Open Mind, Cordero, Roses Cantina, Kruger.
They're on. Nastique on the outside is going for the lead, but joined by Bayakoa. And Bayakoa now takes over by Nastique back into second, then Miss Brio, Colonial Waters, Open Mind, about 5 to Roses Cantina as they leave the chute. Bayakoa leads still by a neck, but Nastique comes on again. Nastique alongside Bayakoa. Their heads apart, have a length on Miss Brio. The quarter 23-3 as they continue down the backstretch. Now, Bayakoa gets clear by a full length. Miss Brio has moved into second by a neck. Nastique on the outside has dropped back into third by a length. Then Colonial Waters fourth by about 4. Open Mind remains in fifth. Roses Cantina remains a distant 6th. They continue down the backstretch with Bayakoa leading on the rail by a length. Miss Brio second by a half. Nastique on the outside still there in third by a neck. And Colonial Waters on the rail is fourth. The half and 47 flat. They round the far turn. Bayakoa now gets clear by 2. Miss Brio second by a neck. Nastique on the outside. Colonial Waters on the rail. They're together. And they have 2 on Open Mind still in fifth. About 3 to Roses Cantina. They round the far turn. 3/4, 11-2. Bayakoa continues to lead by about 3 lengths. Colonial Waters now joined by Open Mind. Open Mind on the outside of Colonial Waters now takes second by a neck. Colonial Waters is third by about 4, then the rest of the field. They're in the stretch. Bayakoa on the rail, joined on the outside by Open Mind. Between them in third is Colonial Waters. Bayakoa on the rail at the 8th hole, still leads by a neck. Open Mind on the outside, second by a neck. Colonial Waters is third. They're at the 16th hole now. Bayakoa gets clear again. Getting clear by 3. Open Mind, Colonial Waters together, and Colonial Waters takes second. Bayakoa in front.
Her last race down at Del Mar wasn't too good, but her trainer, Ron McAnally, said she was horsing that day. She was not horsing today. Bayakoa, beautiful win. Ron McAnally, Lafitte Pink Eye. 460, 340, 220. Colonial Waters out games Open Mind for the place, 520, 240. Open Mind, 210 to show. The exacta 2-3.
1 fillies and mares going a mile and a furlong, $250,000 added. Here it is from start to finish.
And they're off for the lead from the inside. Goodbye Halo, Bayakoa on the outside between the hedges. Then it's Sharp Dance, followed by Stoneley's Hope and Lawyer Talk. Into the first turn, Bayakoa on the inside, up on the outside between the hedges is second. Then it's a gap of 2 lengths to Sharp Dance and Goodbye Halo. Stoneley's Hope runs 5th. Gap of about 10 lengths to the trailer, Lawyer Talk. Moving farther back stretching, Bayakoa leads at a length. Between the hedges is second by 2.5. On the inside, Sharp Dance runs third, then a gap of 5 to Goodbye Halo fourth. Stoneley's Hope is fifth, and Lawyer Talk is the trailer. Continuing down the back stretch, it's Bayakoa in front. Opens it out now to 2.5. Between the hedges is still second. Sharp Dance runs third. Then it's a gap of 5 lengths. Stoneley's Hope fourth ahead. Goodbye Halo is fifth. A gap of 15 lengths to the trailer, Lawyer Talk. They're into the turn with Bayakoa drawing away. Leads it now by 7. Sharp Dance takes second. Between the hedges, third. Goodbye Halo has gained ground into fourth. Stoneley's Hope fifth. As they move forward the stretch, it's Bayakoa in front 6 lengths. Sharp Dance is second with Goodbye Halo to the outside, now gaining ground. Down the stretch, and Bayakoa has a 6-length lead. Sharp Dance is second. In the center of the track, Goodbye Halo runs third. Stoneley's Hope is fourth. They're nearing the wire, and Bayakoa is in front by 10 lengths. Then Goodbye Halo. Under the wire, it's Bayakoa winning easily in the Spinster by...
She chose to run here instead of the Beldame, probably wanted a little 2-turn exercise, and wow, did she get it.
Without a doubt, the best older mare in the country. Bayakoa wins by 11 lengths and taking the Spinster under Jose Santos. Bayakoa, trained by Ron McAnally, now moves on to the Breeders' Cup Distaff, where she will be a heavy...
Speed, she's vulnerable with her speed, but so far there's been nobody to go with her and can take up with her. We'll find out today, because there's 3 horses. Wayne's got 3 horses in there that could, any of them, damage her somewhat. I think if it happens, if she could get to the outside where she'll be able to rate a little bit, it might help her, but she's in a vulnerable position.
$1,000. She's looking for 9th win in 11 starts this year. Coming up, the Distaff. Open Mind, the Lucas Klein filly, or Goodbye Halo, or the folks that are wagering a bob or two like Gorgeous as the second choice, 7-2. A Turf Truism pace makes the race, and this Distaff is a prime example. You look at the current odds, the entry, Klein entry of 3 at 5-1. Bayakoa now drops to 3-5. 9-1 for Colonial Waters. Goodbye Halo will be running hard at the finish, and so will Gorgeous. A lot of late money.
From the inside, post position 1, she'll have a lot of company early. Previous winners, Princess Rooney, Life's Magic, The Great Lady's Secret, Sakawista, and Personal Ends, and 3 of those fillies prepped in the Spinster Stakes at Keeneland, as did Bayakoa. Let's go to Tom Durkin for the call of the Distaff.
In its 5 years, the Breeders' Cup Distaff has showcased some brilliant champions in brilliant performances. Princess Rooney, Lady's Secret, and perhaps the most memorable of them all, Personal Ensign last year. Winning Colors is back in the field this year, along with Goodbye Halo. The favorite, an Argentine mare by the name of Bayakoa that has won 6 Grade 1 events this year. Open Mind, who won 10 consecutive stakes races, is in the starting gate now, and Gorgeous completes the field. We're ready for the start of the Breeders' Distaff, and they're off. Goodbye Halo breaks alertly. Nastique pinch back at the start toward the inside. It's Highest Glory. Bayakoa, Wonder's Delight on the outside now. Here comes Wonder's Delight to take the early lead, and Bayakoa toward the inside. Highest Glory is just in behind them now, and the Derby filly, Winning Colors, will be 3 wide going into the turn. Colonial Waters is up close early, just 4.5 lengths off the lead. lead. Goodbye Halo is rating in 6th position now. It's 2.5 lengths back to Gorgeous, who's moving easily, about 8 lengths off the lead. Then farther back, Open Mind is settled into an easy early gallop. The trailers are Rose's Cantina and Nastique, who was pinched back at the start. The opening quarter was slow, 24 2/5 seconds. Wonders the Light set the pace. And now Bayakoa is going to take a run for the lead now on the outside. There goes Bayakoa after the lead. Then just off them on the outside, Highest Glory is kept close. In 3rd position, 2 lengths back, and Colonial Waters is moving well in 4th. Gorgeous is still racing in 5th position now, and she's beginning to pick it up. The field now moving for the far turn. 48 4. The pace was slow, and now Bayakoa takes the lead and pulls clear as they round the far turn. Wonders the Light, her job done. She's dropping out of it now. Highest Glory is coming after Bayakoa, who is in full stride. She's opening up here by 3. Highest Glory is 2nd, and now Gorgeous is asked for run, and she's going to move through toward the inside. From the back of the pack, Open Mind is gathering momentum, but she is 7 lengths off the lead of Bayakoa, who comes for home now, entering the final furlong. And Gorgeous with a bold late run toward the rail. Bayakoa is put to a fierce drive, trying to hold on by 2. Gorgeous trying to catch her, running out of ground. Bayakoa is got it. Bayakoa wins by 2 lengths. And then it was Gorgeous 2nd. Open Mind was closing fast, but she wound up 3rd. And what we thought was going to be a blistering pace was a crawl. 48 4 for the half mile. The distaff turned into a sprint as they turned for home, and Bayakoa wins it.
Well, the parrot-mouthed overbite of Bayakoa can afford some orthodontia now. $450,000 richer. She's won 9 of 11 this year. They knew they had a wonderful mare from Argentina, supplemented for $120,000 to run in this distaff, and this will put a little pressure looking down the line on Easy Goer and Sunday Silence going for Horse of the Year. Bayakoa, should those 2 stars fail in the Classic, is going to draw some added attention. Despite drawing the inside and in spite of some strategy against her, Bayakoa rates well, and with an opportunity to take the lead, they couldn't catch this 5-year-old that has been brilliant all year long. As the bettors suspected, a 2nd, and Open Mind. The Lucas Klein filly finishes 3rd.
But it does include Bayakoa.
Field sent on their way in the Santa Maria. They all broke perfectly. Nakishka goes to the early lead. Bayakoa content to settle down along her inside. Then it's another 3 lengths back to Invited Guess. Carita Tostada is inside of her. They head to the 7/8 pole, and now Bayakoa decided she wants to control things throughout, and Chris McCarron allows Bayakoa to go up and get the lead. Nakishka on the outside of her. They're setting a strong pace up there. They've drawn off to lead it by 6. Invited Guest is racing in 3rd position. Carita Tostada trails. Past the 3/4 pole, Bayakoa nice and relaxed out there now, still going along smoothly, leads it by a length. Nakishka's on a tight rein in 2nd. Another 4 lengths back to Invited Guess. Carita Tostada is at the back, 7 off the lead. Half mile left to go now in the Santa Maria. It's still Bayakoa just on a loose rein, enjoying herself out there, leading it by 3/4 of a length. Nakishka is certainly holding her own though, matching her stride for stride in 2nd. 7 back to Invited Guest and Carita Tostada. 3/8 of a mile to go. Chris McCarron still dead still on Bayakoa out there. Eddie Dallahousse starting to niggle at Nakishka now to keep up. She's dropped back 1.5 lengths. Then it's 4 back to Invited Guest. 1/4 of a mile to go, and Bayakoa opens up on him. Chris McCarron took a little peep back here. Bayakoa now out there leading it by 4. Nakishka is under the whip in 2nd. Past the 8 pole they come, and it's Bayakoa in another one of these scintillating efforts. The Eclipse Award winner shows just why she's the best mare in America. Bayakoa romps. Nakishka.
Imagine Santa Anita has Gorgeous and Bayakoa. These races looked identical.
That Bayakoa winning very easily, just as easily as Gorgeous. Now the question is, as trainer Ron McAnally pointed out, what about the weights? Bayakoa carried 126 here. She's supposed to run in another handicap in 2 weeks. We'll see what they assign her. Nikishka was second here. Karita Tostada third, 143.
Handicap Santa Anita, $300,000 added. This was the one that we were building up last week. It's fillies and mares, 1 1/8, grade 1. Here's Trevor.
Lucia's Launch on the outside, Bayakoa and Gorgeous. Those three in a straight line as they go under the wire the first time. Karita Tostada drops back by 6 lengths. They head to the 7/8 pole. Bayakoa going to go a little wide into that turn. Gorgeous going with her. Those two nose and nose up there. Lucia's Launch is showing much more speed than expected. She's only 1.5 lengths off them. Another 8 back to Karita Tostada. 3/4 of a mile to go. Gorgeous on a tight rein down at the rail, and Bayakoa right alongside of her. These two going to go head and head throughout by the looks of it. Another 2 lengths back to Lucia's Launch, who's holding her own there in third. And now it's a big gap of 10 lengths back to Karita Tostada. 5/8 of a mile to go, and Bayakoa now kicks on with it. Chris McCarron allows her to go up and take a 3/4 of a length lead. Gorgeous is there in second, and now it's 3 back to Lucia's Launch. A half-mile left to go in the Santa Margarita, and it's Bayakoa now drawing off. Bayakoa set sail for home, leads it by 2.5. Gorgeous, Lucia's Launch is running a big one and holding her own in third. They pass the 5/16 pole. Bayakoa by 2 lengths. Gorgeous is not done with yet, though. She's starting to come back at her on the outside at the top of the lane, and here's the match race we've been waiting for. Bayakoa leading it by 2. Gorgeous, Eddie Dalahusay reaching for the whip, she's not finding, and Bayakoa is out there moving like a winner with 1/8 of a mile to go. And here she comes in another one of these spectacular performances. What a mare this is. Bayakoa and Chris McCarron waltz home in the Santa Margarita.
Like we built up nothing. She just loves it wet. Bayakoa, by as much as you wanted her to win. Gorgeous was second. Lucia's Launch third. Chris McCarron won both races. Time 1:48.
For the Milady handicap, a grade 1 for fillies and mares, 1 1/16 the distance. This featured Bayakoa, and she faced just 3 others.
Racing now. Bayakoa was one of the first to go. In fact, she has the head in front after the start by about 100 yards or so. Fantastic Lookers going up on the outside now to try and join Bayakoa, and they go through the clubhouse turn together with Fantastic Look taking over. Fantastic Look has crossed a lead 1.5 lengths to Bayakoa with 7/8 of a mile to go, and they've kicked away. They're about 6 or 7 lengths clear of Felidia, and a similar break off to Kelly, which is immediately dropping out, a long last of all. Fantastic Look has put on a bit of pace in the early stages and swept into the back stretch 2 lengths clear of Bayakoa, who's settled down well for Pink Eye. They're clear by about 6 lengths to the Irish bred Felidia, with Kelly some 15 lengths off at the tail of the field. Now Bayakoa striding up on the outside within a length or so of Fantastic Look as they go towards the half-mile in the 1990 Milady handicap. It's Fantastic Look in the Golden Eagle colours, the leader, by a length to Bayakoa, who's sitting up in a beautiful position. About 8 lengths away in third placing was Felidia, and Kelly is struggling to keep them in sight. Kelly about 12 lengths away at the tail of the field. Coming down towards the 5/16 marker, and Fantastic Look is the leader here, quickening up again by 1.5 lengths
half to Bayakoa. They're a long way in front of Felidia. It's Fantastic Look, the first to straighten up. Fantastic Look at the 3/16 has given a couple of cracks with the web. Bayakoa looks to be coasting up to it. Pink Eye hasn't let the great mare go yet, and Bayakoa went a Fantastic Look. Bayakoa has taken the lead. She's going to top the $2 million in stake earnings here. Bayakoa coming away, and she's going to win it brilliantly. Bayakoa too classy for Fantastic Look.
Lasix is permitted. They put up $150,000. It's a Grade 1 race. 4 ran.
And Bayakoa won it in that field of 4. She carried 127 pounds to victory under Lafitte Pinkai. Fantastic Look was second. Kelly finished third. The final time, 1:40. Have this a Grade 3, mile and a 16th the distance. And here's Trevor Denman with the call.
Field sent on their way in the Chula Vista. They broke in a perfect line. Bayakoa came out well and goes straight to the lead. Fantastic Look getting up second. Rosadora tucking in behind that leading pair in third. Estrella Fuega now moving up at the rail, 3 off them. Formidable Lady is the early trailer. Ahead to the 7/8 pole, and Lafitte Pinkai has Bayakoa out here, leading it by 1 length to Fantastic Look. Estrella Fuega is racing in third. Rosadora 4 lengths off the leader, and Formidable Lady trailing. 3/4 of a mile to go, and Bayakoa leads them 3 parts of a length. Fantastic Look is second. Estrella Fuega right there in third. Now only a length and a half off Bayakoa. Then it's another 2.5 back to Formidable Lady, and Rosadora has 5 to make up. They head to the half-mile pole, and Bayakoa got it all her own way today. Leads it 3 parts of a length to Fantastic Look. Estrella Fuega now 2.5 off the leader. Then Formidable Lady and Rosadora. They go to the 3/8 pole, and the 2 favourites start to dominate. Bayakoa, Fantastic Look coming to take her on down at the rail. 3 back to Estrella Fuega, Rosadora and Formidable Lady. They head to the quarter pole, and Fantastic Look has gone up on the inside of Bayakoa to put her head in front. These 2 swing for home together. It's Fantastic Look and Chris McCarron at the rail. Bayakoa and Lafitte Pinkai on the outside. They nose and nose with 1/8 of a mile to go. Bayakoa, Fantastic Look coming through the stretch together. Fantastic Look is going the better of the 2. Bayakoa trying to come back at her. Fantastic Look, Bayakoa come to the wire together. At the wire, it's close.
It looked like she lost it, as John pointed out to me, but she didn't. However, there was a 15-pound weight swing. Bayakoa, go for 1, could make Breeders' Cup Day quite interesting.
Certainly could. East versus West. Bayakoa, the best out west. She wins by a nose under Lafitte Pinkai. Fantastic Look was second. Formidable Lady finished third. Mile and a 16th and 1:40.
And they're off. Bayakoa and Barbarica break sharply on the outside. From the inside, Luthier's Launch and Gorgeous. Then from between horses, Top Account. Into the first turn, and Barbarica is in front. Has it by a length. Bayakoa on the outside is second. From the rail, Luthier's Launch takes third. Then up from between horses, Double Bunctious is 4th ahead. Degenerate Gal 5th by a half length. Top Account is 6th. Then it's 2 back to Gorgeous. The trailer is flags waving. Onto the back stretch, and Barbarica is in front. Has it now by a length. Bayakoa gains ground up on the outside. Those 2 are now right together. 2 back to Degenerate Gal running third. Luthier's Launch is 4th. From the inside, Double Bunctious runs 5th. Top Account is 6th by a head. Gorgeous to the outside, 7th. The trailer is flags waving. As they move into the turn, it's Bayakoa on the outside getting the lead. Has it now by a length. From the inside, still Barbarica. Luthier's Launch moves up on the outside. Now Luthier's Launch takes second. Barbarica is third, gap of 3. Gorgeous has moved into 4th. Degenerate Gal runs 5th. As they move into the stretch, it's Bayakoa drawing away by 3. Gaining ground from the outside, Gorgeous now takes second. Luthier's Launch is third. Down the stretch, it's Bayakoa in front. Has it now by 4. Then Gorgeous. Luthier's Launch is third. But nearing the wire, it's Bayakoa in front. Gorgeous is second. Under the bar, Bayakoa wins.
Decision for her now is whether to defend her Breeders' Cup Breeders' Cup Distaff title and pay the supplementary fee once again.
That fee, $200,000. We'll see what happens, but Bayakoa wins the Spinster for the second consecutive year, defeating her rival Gorgeous. Luthier's Launch was third. Final time, 1.
The lady waits. Amidst the hustle and bustle of America's big, bad, and beautiful, the lady, serving as a generous hostess, waiting to greet her guests for the dance. The Horseman's Ball, held each fall. Among the mean streets and gentle people, today, the lady waits her turn to host the day of thoroughbred racing, the Breeders' Cup. The lady, Belmont Park. She's been here since 1905. Kelso danced with her once, as did Citation, Gallant Fox, Immortal Man of War, Native Dancer, and the Amazing Secretariat. Oh, she's been a good partner. Appropriately, she now hosts many of racing's best ladies this year. Meadow Star from Belmont Park. It's the Breeders' Cup on NBC. In the distaff goes to the breeding shed. Here is the morning line. Gorgeous Scratch, as you can see. Bayakoa at 6 to fun. Go for Wand, the juvenile filly winner of last year in the Breeders' Cup, at even money. But currently, those numbers change.
7 a.m. last Sunday morning, Ron McAnally and I were standing on the backside here at Belmont Park, and Ron says, I'm going to work my filly 7 furlongs here on the main track. Well, a minute 22 and 4/5 seconds later, with the jockey's hands never having moved, Bayakoa completed the most sensational workout of this week, and I imagine that puts her right on edge for this distaff.
Oh, yeah, it does, and she's been really good the last part of the year, thank goodness. You know, a race coming up of this caliber, I think she has about as good a chance as any other filly that I've ever trained, as a matter of fact. I don't know about Go for One. They say that she's something special, but I think at least we'll give her a run for money.
On paper, with the defection of Gorgeous, this appears to be a match race between Bayakoa and Go for One. You seem to have the edge because you have the natural speed. Is that the tactics that you've just given Lafitte Pinkai to play catch me if you can?
Well, not necessarily. I just told him to run the same race he ran in the Spinster. He has the advantage of the best post position being on the outside. And just let Go for One. If she wants to take the lead, let her. But if we get the lead, you know, make sure it's an easy lead and let her come and catch us.
Go get him.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Ron McAnally, best known for his work with John Henry. But
5 Bayakoa. Now, these are substitute silks. You notice the silks in the lower left-hand corner. They never arrived. So substitute silks on Bayakoa today. We'll see if that is an omen of good or bad luck. You know, last year, Mr. and Mrs. Frank Whittam, the owners, put up $200,000 to make Bayakoa a supplemental nominee for the distaff after she had won the Spinster. In 1990, they followed the same script and hoped for the same results, so winning the distaff and a championship to follow. Bayakoa also has a shot at Horse of the Year, and she is within striking distance of Open Mind's all-time female money title of over $3 million.
Mile, a very fair test. Jockeys with plenty of time to make decisions. Nowhere else in North America will a race of this distance be run around one turn. There you see they'll start on the far side out of that chute and a 1.5 mile run. So the jockeys will enjoy this as their kind of race. And let's see how those who are wagering a bob look at it. Big prices except for Go for One at 3 to 5. Bayakoa even money. Some support for Colonial Waters at 13.
Of the Breeders' Cup Distaff at 1 1/8 miles.
What great performances this race has produced in 6 years. Princess Rooney, Lady Secret, Personal Ensign, and Bayakoa, the 6-year-old Argentine mare, won it last year. She's in again this year. And she faces a stout challenge from Go for One, the sensational 3-year-old filly, whose odds read now 3 to 5.
It's not good. I don't like the way she's...
One more in behind the gate. Nestorian moves into line. We're ready for a start of the 7th Breeders' Cup Distaff, and they're off. And it's a perfect start with Ballet Maid going for the lead. Nestorian is there. Colonial Waters, Bayakoa away in good order, and Go for One just to her inside. They begin their long run down the Belmont backstretch, and Bayakoa is eager for the lead. La Beat Pinkai trying to throttle her speed, and Go for One is going to run with her, so the battle is joined early. Nestorian just off them. Then the long striding Colonial Waters is settled nicely in behind the pacemakers, and 4th Ballet Maid is 5th by 4. Then flags waving, and the bright roan Luthier's Launch down the backstretch, and Go for One now has taken the lead. Bayakoa right there just off her flank, and those two now lead the way as they move toward the half-mile pole, with Colonial Waters trying to stay with them in 3rd. The quarter went in 23 2/5 seconds. They run a half in 46 2. A chess game down the backstretch. Randy Romero moves with Go for One. Pinkai counters with Bayakoa, and those two, the tempo quickening now, and a clash of champions midway around the far turn here at Belmont Park. They pulled away from 3. Colonial Waters is racing in 3rd position, and Nestorian is 4th. They hooked up at the start. They're in a cutthroat duel. Go for One holding on to a short lead. Bayakoa is right at her throat, and they have dueled through 3/4 mile in 1:10 2. Bayakoa on the outside, a short lead. Go for One is unwavering toward the rail. Those two stride for stride. Go for One on the inside. Bayakoa battling back. A dramatic distaff. Go for One grimly fallen at the 16th hole, and a tragic stretch run here by
Into the most tragic day in American horse racing history. A hollow victory indeed for Bayakoa, a great champion mare who was showing her grit and determination by battling head and head.
Said that it was a match race on paper. We remember a race here in the 70s. It was a match race between Foolish Pleasure and Ruffian.
Yeah.
This was an identical race in many ways, Ron. Bayakoa, your filly, and Go for One hooking up in this kind of duel, and boy, I'll tell you, this winner's circle, it's like a funeral.
Yes, I have mixed emotions. I just, you know, I can't cope with something like this. I feel good about our filly, but the other filly are terrible.
I can tell you that down here in the winner's circle, the tears are not just shed by Mr. and Mrs. McAnally, but by many fans. Angel Cordero just came off the track in tears. It's just too easy to say that it's part of racing, I think, Ron, isn't it?
It is part of racing, but to have a great filly like this on a day like today, it's sad. It really is a sad situation. They, as my wife said, they give their lives for our enjoyment.
We'll try to get a word with the
Pictures tell that story much too well. Incredibly, on this Halloween weekend, Go for One's Dam Obeah, that means voodoo, a spell. And so Go for One inheriting that name because the wand would break the spell. But unfortunately, today was one of bad luck for Go for One. Bayakoa is the winner in the distaff. We'll be back after these. The great battle with Go for One ending all too abruptly. But nevertheless, a brilliant ride by Lafitte Pinkai on an incredible mare. Colonial Waters and Valet made the official numbers, exact at $38, and Jenny is with the winning jockey.
Lafitte Pinkai, as you can tell by his face, not the typical expression of a winning jockey. What a tough way, or painful way to get a victory.
Yes, it is tough to win this way. The other filly was putting a tough fight. She's a great filly, and I really feel bad for the owners and the jockey and everybody.
All right, Lafitte, congratulations, but again, a tough way. Again, Go For One with a terrible fracture of her right front ankle was destroyed just moments ago. Dick, back to you.
So that official that Go For One, as we watch Bayakoa and Go For One to very quickly engage in that head-to-head duel, John Beach.
Yes, right here they're evenly matched. Go For One taking the fight to Bayakoa, something that nobody expected. Probably trying to take away some of her steam to get the advantage on her own, and which she does here. Now she's dictating the race to Bayakoa. Then Bayakoa has to come back at her. It's a head-and-head duel, and shortly they'll join up at the head of the stretch, and it's just a tremendous horse race. There's no better race that anybody's seen this year than this race.
And here they are. But we will have a trophy presentation. Robert London, General Manager of Alberto Culver USA Incorporated, with the sponsoring Consort Hairspray, is here to present the trophy to Frank Whittam, the owner of Bayakoa.
Thank you. On behalf of the Alberto Culver Company and its sponsoring brand for today's race, Consort Hair Care Products for Men, we're pleased to present you the trophy for this year's Breeders' Cup Distaff. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. London.
Mr. Whittam, your mare, her ability is obviously well known, but we heard from Ron and Debbie a moment ago, and it's a tragic way to have to accept a victory for a brilliant mare.
It sure is, and our heart goes out to those owners and all the public that see that. It's just a tough way to win.
I have to compliment you on your sporting instincts, though. For 2 consecutive years now, your mare had a championship locked up, and yet you risked $200,000 to make her a supplemental entry for this race when you didn't really have to win a championship. Do you think you can take the Horse of the Year title in 1990?
Well, that was a consideration to when we supplemented the mare. She has, you're familiar with a very good record that she has, and I think she'll be considered for Horse of the Year.
And what are your plans now for her in the future?
Ron and I will discuss that, see how the filly comes out. She looks fine, but we'll get our heads together, and you might see her some more.
All right, and perhaps she'll wind up as the leading money-winning female of all time. That's the scene of the winner's circle, Dick.
All right, Tom, Bayakoa winning for the 7th time in 9 starts this year. The Argentine bred certainly a candidate for some top votes. Colonial Waters, Valet Made, and the rest of the field. And Go For One on the bottom of the results. Well, we got to switch gears.